हम सब वितरण कर रहे हैं अपनी जनता के लिए और पूरे भारत, पूरे देश के लिए, पूरे विश्व के लिए।
And here in Tokyo, we announced 2 new initiatives: the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework and the Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness Program. That's going to bring India and the United States together with other nations to reflect our vision for a more open, more prosperous, connected, and secure world.
और यहाँ पे अभी टोक्यो में हमने 2 पहलों की ऐलान किया है, जो कि एक है हिंद प्रशांत अर्थव्यवस्था का रूपरेखा और दूसरी जो कि इंडो पैसिफिक इकोनॉमिक फ्रेमवर्क और दूसरा है इंडो पैसिफिक मैरीटाइम डोमेन अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम, जो कि हमको भारत को और अमेरिका को साथ ले आएगा और अन्य राष्ट्रों के साथ भी, और वो हमारे जो दर्शाएगा अधिक में और समृद्ध रूप में और उसके सुरक्षित विश्व के लिए।
I'm pleased that we've reached agreement for the U.S. Development Finance Corporation to continue its important work in India, supporting vaccine production, clean energy initiatives, and I'm also glad we're renewing the Indo-U.S. Vaccine Action Program.
और मुझे भी ये भी प्रसन्नता है कि हमने एक समझौता अनुबंध अपना किया है अमेरिका के लिए अपने विकास वित्तीय निगम के लिए, और उसको हम जारी रख रहे हैं और बहुत एक आवश्यक महत्वपूर्ण काम कर रहे हैं, जो कि भारत को मदद कर रहा है वैक्सीन उत्पादन के लिए और स्वच्छ ऊर्जा के निवेश के लिए। और मुझे ये भी खुशी है कि हमने अपना भारत और अमेरिका का वैक्सीन एक्शन प्रोग्राम में भी नवीनीकरण कर दिया है, इसको रिन्यू किया है।
We also discussed the ongoing effects of Russia's brutal and unjustified invasion of Ukraine and the effect it has on the entire global world order. And the U.S. and India are going to continue consulting closely on how to mitigate these negative effects.
और हम इसके ऊपर भी चर्चा करेंगे, जो कि रशिया के क्रूर और अनुचित युद्ध के विरुद्ध जो उन्होंने किया है, जिसका पूरे विश्व पर असर पड़ रहा है, और इसमें हम बहुत बारीकी से निरंतर परामर्श करते रहेंगे भारत में और अमेरिका के मध्य, और इसके ऊपर हम ये विचार करेंगे कि किस प्रकार इसके प्रभाव को हम कम कर सकते हैं।
I'm looking forward to continuing our conversation today. Mr. Prime Minister, there's so much that our countries can and will do together, and I'm committed to making U.S.-India partnership among the closest we have on earth.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री, मैं बहुत उत्सुक हूँ अपने वार्तालाप के लिए, और हम दोनों देश और राष्ट्र इतना कुछ कर सकते हैं और करेंगे मिलकर, और मुझे पूरी मेरी प्रतिबद्धता है कि मैं अमेरिका और भारत के आपस के रिश्ते को, साझेदारी को बहुत नजदीकी बना दूं इस पूरी धरती पर।
मिस्टर प्रेसिडेंट, आपसे मिलकर हमेशा बहुत खुशी होती है। आज हमने एक और सकारात्मक और उपयोगी वर्ल्ड समिट में भी साथ साथ भाग लिया।
Mr. President, it's always a pleasure to meet you, and today we also participated together in a very positive and useful Quad Summit.
भारत और अमेरिका की स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप सही मायने में एक पार्टनरशिप ऑफ ट्रस्ट है।
The India-America strategic partnership is in the true sense a partnership of trust.
हमारे साझा मूल्यों और सुरक्षा सहित कई क्षेत्रों में हमारे समान हितों ने इस ट्रस्ट के बॉन्ड को मजबूत किया है।
Our common interests in defense and other defense and other matters, and our shared values have indeed strengthened this bond of trust between our two countries.
हमारे पीपल टू पीपल रिलेशंस और घनिष्ठ आर्थिक संबंधों में भी हमारी पार्टनरशिप को यूनिक बनाते हैं।
Our people-to-people relations and our strong economic cooperation makes our partnership even more unique.
हमारे बीच ट्रेड और निवेश में भी निरंतर विस्तार होता जा रहा है, यद्यपि ये हमारे पोटेंशियल से अभी बहुत कम है.
Our trade and investment relations are also steadily on the rise, but they are still well below potential.
मुझे विश्वास है कि हमारे बीच इंडिया यूएसए इन्वेस्टमेंट इंसेंटिव एग्रीमेंट से निवेश की दिशा में कॉन्क्रीट प्रगति देखने को मिलेगी.
I am absolutely confident that with the conclusion of the India-USA Investment Incentive Agreement, we will see concrete progress in investment between our two countries.
हम टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में अपना द्विपक्षीय सहयोग बढ़ा रहे हैं और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी आपसी समन्वय सुदृढ़ कर रहे हैं.
We're also increasing bilateral cooperation in the domain of technology, and even on global issues, we cooperate closely.
हम दोनों ही देश के इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र के बारे में भी समान नजरिया रखते हैं और न सिर्फ द्विपक्षीय स्तर पर बल्कि अन्य लाइक माइंडेड देशों के साथ अपने साझा मूल्यों और साझा हितों को सुरक्षित रखने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं.
We both share similar views on the Indo-Pacific, and at the bilateral level as well as with like-minded countries, we continue to work to protect our common concerns.
क्वाड और कल घोषित आईपीएफ इसके सक्रिय उदाहरण हैं. आज हमारी चर्चा से इस पॉजिटिव मोमेंटम को और गति मिलेगी.
The Quad and the IPEF are two important examples of this cooperation, and I believe that our discussions today will give even further speed to this positive momentum.
मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत और अमेरिका की मित्रता वैश्विक शांति और स्थिरता, प्लेनेट की सस्टेनेबिलिटी और मानव जाति के कल्याण के लिए एक फोर्स फॉर गुड बनी रहेगी.
I am absolutely sure that the India-US friendship will continue to be a force for good, for global peace and stability, for sustainability of the planet, and for human development.
So much. Thank you.
Mr. President, will you push Prime Minister Modi to take a tougher stance on Russia?
Mr. President, do you ask Prime Minister Modi to leave his bill about Russian oil?
Are you going to help him get some Russian oil? Are you going to get some Russia?
All right, that of course the crucial Modi-Biden meeting, both the leaders giving a short statement ahead of their bilateral talks, in fact focusing on the Indo-US strategic partnership and ties. And Prime Minister Modi there also saying that India and US's trade and investment relationship is on the rise, but pointing out that there is still much more potential for the trade relationship between the two countries. Well, those are some details coming in. Prime Minister also talked about the fact that both the countries share similar views on the Indo-Pacific and that the ties between the two countries will remain a force for good. Those are the details here. In fact, US President Biden also talked about the fact that there is so much that the two countries can and would do together, and that he hopes that the Indo-US relations would be taken to the next level. So those are some important points that were discussed or that were made in their statements at this point in time. In fact, one of the important points that the Prime Minister talked about was the trade and investment ties between the two countries, between India and US, which still has much more potential, and hopes that that in fact is something that would be pursued going forward as well. Srinjoy is joining us for more details. Srinjoy, comments coming in from both the leaders at this point in time. What would you say, any important takeaways for now?
Well, the most important thing is that these meetings comes in the wake of two very important things. One is the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And secondly, the rise of China and China's muscle flexing. So there are 3 or 4 things that even the Americans have spoken about as far as the meeting with Biden is concerned. The first really relates to closer strategic ties. And the Quad is a place, the Quad has a naval equivalent exercise, Malabar. Now all 4 countries are part of Malabar. Secondly, the Biden himself and the Americans have spoken about closer ties between India and America in different areas, whether it's economic, whether it's military, whether it's cultural, whether it's people to people. The point is, both America certainly is looking at closer military ties with India. There is no dispute. The other thing, of course, relates to Russia. And in the 2+2 that happened recently, the Americans were at pains to tell India that, look, we understand your position on Russia. Now, this was said in at least 2 of the 3 meetings that took place, because there were 3 meetings: defense minister, foreign minister, and all 4 of them together. Now, that apart, they did not raise any questions about the sale of S-400 air defense systems from Russia to India. Now, India hopes that this will follow. The same position will happen at this time.
All right, Srinjoy, thank you so much for getting us all of those details.